Hello and welcome to Hearth and Hammer. We are a family-friendly D&D show, and we are so thankful that you're here joining us tonight. We are getting into Campaign 2, Episode 4 tonight, continuing our adventure in the world of Xennelia, our homebrew fantasy system, our homebrew fantasy setting using 5e system. And as always, we have our phenomenal party with us tonight. How are you all doing?
I'm good.
Good.
For now, DM, until you kill
For
us.
now, until. Yes. Speaking of families. Yeah. So, we are, like I said, on episode 4. It is going to be a lot of fun. However, we are missing our blue friend this evening. Reborn had to take care of his family tonight. Our thoughts and prayers go to Mrs. Reborn because she had an allergic reaction. She's okay, but he's got to take care of her, so we're going to hold down the fort without him tonight. So, yeah, we're going to do that. Real quick, how's everybody been? It's been a couple weeks. What's new?
What's new? It's always a loaded question.
I graduated last weekend, so
Hey!
I am
Congratulations.
free.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Free. So
That is awesome.
all kinds of free time now. Who knows what I'm going to do? Who knows?
You're going
That's
to
a big deal.
read books, play games, so many fun things, so many activities.
I go get a job now.
That's right.
Oh, don't do that.
You'll regret it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Dave, anything new for you?
Let's see. The most exciting thing was that I was traveling the week I missed, and so I was in Austin, staying near this area called the Domain, and I found a shortcut through a fence that had a hole in it that someone told me about, and it cut like 30 minutes off my walk over there every night. So I was,
Just from like a hole in a fence.
It's like level 3 hoboism. You have to like cross tree tracks and then go into a wooded area, and yeah, so that was exciting.
Hey, fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kyle, anything with you?
No, been working a ton, honestly. So it was kind of nice to have a night off last week. I put in like 55 or more hours last week, so I just probably went to sleep early and let my brain refresh.
I was going to go to sleep early, and then Dave got on after we had all got off, and he and I talked for another hour. It was fun, though. It was fun.
We finished up Only Murders in the Building. We were kind of watching that. We watched the 2 seasons of that. Steve Martin and Martin Shorter are funny in it.
I've seen the first season. I have not seen the second. Great.
Yeah.
Same.
Great show. So
I would say if you like the first one, you'd probably like the second one. They were both funny.
Awesome. Sulyce, anything for you?
Yeah.
You get partnered?
So
Yeah.
not yet. Close.
Oh, okay.
No. So last Tuesday, I missed last Tuesday, or we didn't have it last Tuesday, but my wife and I celebrated our 14th anniversary. So that's
Congratulations.
It's a long time and a good sentiment. Let's see here. My 7-year-old son, 4-year-old daughter, belt tested in Taekwondo, so they got their next little tiger belts. Cutest thing in the world. Daughter has a dance recital on Saturday. We're going on our first camping trip Saturday night. So yeah, I mean, parenting.
Yeah, that's a full plate. That sounds great.
Nice. It is. Yeah,
Nice.
staying busy. And then you alluded to it, but podcast is doing great. I do a podcast for Star Citizen, but blessed. I mean, I'm 23,000 impressions, 200 viewers or subscribers. So really good.
That's
really
awesome.
Good stuff.
That is so awesome. Yeah. Yeah, for me as well, it's been kind of crazy. Started karate with my son. So, we've got a whole 2 sessions under our belt since, the last time. But hey, awesome. It's going well, and I'm definitely out of shape. I've learned. I knew that, but this was a reminder. So, but it's gonna be good. Also, the kids are about to end school. Tomorrow's their last day. So that's crazy.
Okay.
Technically Thursday's their last day, but it's like a
I would
half
say
day.
ours end on Thursday.
Yeah, it's like a half day, and I'm like, I'm not sending them for them to do nothing for half a day, and then I have to get off early just to pick them up anyway. Like, I'll just keep them home.
Yeah.
So, but we're actually gonna take off and go down and visit my sister in Texas. So it'll be good times.
Okay, hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
All right, so Dave, you were in the domain. I live 5 minutes from the domain. So first off, shame on you for not reaching out.
No.
Seth.
I asked Seth, like, where's Sulyce? And he's like,
well, you should have put it in the
I
chat
was
because
near
I don't
Austin,
remember.
But I don't know if it's in Austin. I was like, okay, well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have his address.
Yeah. You don't have my home address. What is
No.
this? Well, if you're anywhere near Austin, Seth, hit me up.
I will not be
I'm
near
sure
Austin.
I'll be back soon too.
So it'll be the Dallas area. So.
Well, good. I'm glad because I don't want to hang out with y'all. I'm not bitter.
With friends like these. With friends like these.
I know. No, but yeah, if I make it down there or even close, I will let you know. I mean, I will travel to have a random 2-hour meetup, so that's not a problem. Well, hey, welcome in, viewers, for joining us. If you're listening to the podcast, maybe I'll cut this out, maybe I won't. We'll see. We haven't seen each other in a couple weeks, so we just needed to say hello. But again, welcome. Again, we're on episode 4, and we are short one player, but we're going to move on anyway. So let us have our recap and get into it for the night. All right. Last time on Hearth and Hammer, the adventurers had taken their rest after battling the Shadestalkers. Tika Tik, who had taken the early morning watch, was approached by the half-orc who had joined them the night before. He had risen early and showed Tika how to harvest the Shadestalker essence from the glands in the creatures. He explained that drinking the smoky liquid would grant the imbiber the protection of the smoky blurred form, but that there would be a price after drinking it, especially in its current raw extracted state. The werebear warrior then took his leave before the remainder of the group awoke. After waking, the group discovered their original target of their challenge, a harvest coin in a box not too far from their campsite. Disappointed after the previous day's excitement, the party began the return trip to the Tetralith grounds. Pushing through into the early evening, once back in the camp, the group were directed to make a report and check in with the magiscribes on duty. An older human mage led the crew to a vacant building within the township of the Tetralith Academy to meet with the Tetrarch, Alicia Moncero. While waiting, Erebus tried to get a glimpse of the entrance within the tower under the academy, but was turned away by several patrolling guards. Alicia informed them of the dangers and the meaning of discovering Shade Mist scouts so far east, and requested that they meet with her and other leaders the next day. After being dismissed, they all agreed to accompany them and turned it to rest after a long day. And so, here we are. Before we dive in too much, if you were here 2 weeks ago, we had discussion, and the group who were here rolled their health for level 2 because they did level up. Dave, you weren't here, so why don't you go ahead and roll your hit dice and manually add it to your level 2 character, and tell us what you get at level 2.
So I actually clicked into it, and I don't know. So I'm at level 2 now, but maybe it's worth adjusting.
You
I
could
don't
go to
remember what I
manual.
was before.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So before you had max health for sure.
Was that
So
11? I can't remember.
it would be your hit
Your
dice
Constitution bonus
plus your
plus
Constitution.
your max hit die.
Yeah. So it's your hit dice plus your Constitution. There's something else, I think. 1 second.
Now, I actually had a question about this when we were rolling this before. Do you also add your level? So
Well,
my
now
max
you're making me look it up.
HP at level 1 was 8. And then when we rolled for level 2, I rolled a 4 because my hit die is just a 6. So now I'm level 2 and my max HP is 12. Does that sound about right?
Wait, say that again?
My max HP at level 1 was 8 because my hit die is
A
a
6?
6 as a
Sure.
sorcerer. So my max HP at level 1 was 8, and then when we leveled up to 2, you said to just roll a hit die, and I rolled a 4. So now my max HP is 12. It's just 12. That's correct for
Sure.
D&D?
Yeah,
I'm
so
asking
looking
because
at
D&D Beyond was trying to like say to add your level or something like that.
that's for something else, I think. So
Okay.
yes, under hit points, it's on your first level. It is always the maximum of your hit dice. So 6 plus
Yeah.
your Constitution modifier. Okay, that's your
Yep.
hit point maximum. And so that's what you'll get there. After that, then like I said, we're having you guys roll to manually set it. I'm basically giving you a reroll if you get a 1, or
Oh, I did a roll
or
a
2,
1,
or
as I want to do.
yes. Or I think maybe even I was just giving you two rolls of it and letting you pick the higher.
Yeah. Roll with advantage.
So basically, yeah. So, what is yours? Is it a D8? Vigo?
So it's already a level 2, but when I look, it says hit dice, cleric, 2d8.
Right, because at level 2 you have 2 D8 as your hit
So it
dice.
would have been.
But so basically, your hit dice would have been 8 plus whatever your Constitution modifier was. So if it's plus 2,
3.
plus 3,
Mm-hmm.
or was it 13?
I remembered an 11.
Okay, so it's 13, so you had 11. Okay. Or your modifier is plus 1, so it would have been 9 hit points.
Is your Constitution 13? Are you saying your Constitution is...
My con modifier is plus 3.
So you have 15,
Yeah.
or sorry, 16 in con?
I have 16 in con, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. So then, yeah, you would have had 11 hit points. So then,
So I
Yeah.
took level 2, and it auto rolled for me and gave me a 14. It says rolled HP is 8. But I can roll again. And add it to the whatever I need to.
well, so it rolled a D8 and it gave you 2.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. Just go ahead and roll 2 dice, 2
Okay.
D8, roll 2 D8, and take the higher number and add that to 11, and then set your hit points manually using that.
2d8 roll. I got 3. So it would be 15.
14. Okay.
14?
No, was that your highest of the 2?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
Right. So 14.
Well, no, then it would be 13. If you rolled a 2 and a 1.
You get 2.
11.
You say to take the higher of the 2 rolls.
11 plus
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, 11 plus 2. So 13 points.
Okay.
Okay.
You have 1 more hit point than I do still. Think of it that way.
Yeah, the sorcerer with his D6 over here.
I won't think of it as going down.
No,
Yeah.
don't. think of it
Alright.
as still being high, above. Okay.
I think my only other change was Channel Divinity, which gives me Turn Undead and Path to the Grave, which are both awesome.
Yeah, they
And
are.
everything else is normal.
Path of the
Could have
Grave
taken that
is
chef feat, but I didn't.
fantastic. Okay. So then, what is the party doing? You all went. If you haven't taken a long rest, you can go ahead and take your long rest.
We did.
Was there anything that you wanted to do before you were, like, in the evening or before you were gathered up? I think I told you guys in the discussion section that you had access to supplies within your nation's camp.
Yes.
If you felt like you wanted to try to get some. If you want to tell me that you get some, if you want to role play that you get some, we can do either one of those things.
You and I discussed something I've gotten, but I want to kind of keep it from the other players at the moment. So I'll bring that up when we gather back together.
Yes.
I think I would just refresh material components if I hadn't already, and
Okay.
that's all I would be interested in doing.
I think I would have pulled out my dagger and made sure that it was equipped on me as well. I only went out with my rapier when I initially went out. Now I'm equipped with 2 weapon systems, knowing that I have no idea what to expect in the next couple of days or weeks ahead of me.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's see here. This is the problem, guys. We don't have it for a couple weeks, and then all my windows are messed up. There we go. Okay. All right. Much better.
Hey, DM.
Yes.
Will you remind me the next steps? Were we told to meet them first thing in the morning? I don't remember what that next step was. Are they going to come to us?
They were going to come get you.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to come get you.
Okay.
And so that'll be a thing. But so was there anything that you wanted to look at the moment? Anything you wanted to do? Grab?
I'm ready to meet back up.
Okay. So who's an early riser? Which character? Vigo's not. He's
I would
19
say
going on
Tika
I'm a
probably
little bit
is.
of an early riser.
Yeah, I would say Tika is as well because she doesn't have
probably
night vision.
all
She doesn't
three
stay
of
up late.
you.
Yeah.
We'll say Pappy definitely is not. So
Yeah, so I'd say with Erebus only needing 4 hours of sleep, he's probably already been awake for a while.
yeah, definitely went on like a 10-mile jog or something.
Push-ups.
Yeah.
Some burpees.
Okay, so you all gather together in the eating pavilion that's closest to where you met together as a group. Erebus, most likely the first to come in. He probably wanders in as the cooks are starting to get their stuff together. We definitely have coffee in Xennelia, so he's gone over and basically helped brew the first of it as the cooks began cooking mounds of breakfast for this huge camp. Tika, you probably would have wandered in next. What do you do when you see Erebus over there?
So I would go up to Erebus, big old smile on my face, and I take something out of an inner pocket, and I flick it over to him, and it looks like a coin, and it kind of spins over to him, and it's got a pin on the back, and it's a little crown to remind us all that he's royalty, so that he can go ahead and pin it on there, so Pappy never forgets that That's who it is. So when they separated, she wouldn't have that minted with a. It's a really cheap coin. It is definitely not like something you want to,
Yeah. It's
save
like the
and pass
penny.
down to
It's like the
generations.
penny press at the zoo, right?
Yes,
Where you
exactly.
like crank
yes.
it, and, you're like you just took some like tools and you're like tearing off bits to make the crown. Yeah, totally. Had some
Yep,
artificer in
So-
camp solder on a little pin. Yeah, totally.
She had tipped her fake hat, and that's how she would greet him in the morning.
Yeah, I think at this point, Erebus is starting to kind of lower his wall a little bit. He's probably just gonna smirk, take it, kind of do like a little half salute, and put it in one of his little pockets.
Awesome. So then let's see. Oh my gosh, Lorys, you wander in next. What do you do? Lorys, you're probably there just as like the first early morning risers are getting in there. There's probably about a quarter of this pavilion full at the moment, and Tika Tik and Erebus are over at a table, probably pretty close to the cook staff because they've been in here for a while. Got coffee in hand. Some empty
That's
plates in
why
front
I'm
of
looking
them.
for something warm to drink, just kind of get the day going. And I asked them if they want to ask Erebus and Tika Tik if they want anything to drink. So can I get you guys something to drink? Tea, coffee.
I'm gonna look down and see I'm still half full, so I'm just gonna again.
Good.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks.
I'll take this 2. I'll take 2. Whatever you're
Two?
bringing, I'll take 2 of them.
All right.
Tika's got like 5
So I
cups
go get
of empty
3.
coffee in front of her.
I go get 3 coffees. I come back.
Nice.
You
And
do
then
not need this much coffee.
and then pretty, like it's probably you've had probably 2 or 3 more rounds of people come in, fill the tent, leave. When Vigo finally strolls in, definitely bleary-eyed, sleepy. Vigo, what are you doing?
I don't like coffee, so I'm still trying to wake up. Look around. Hey guys, what's going on?
Well,
Are we ready to start?
it's a great question. I'm ready.
Do we have any idea what happened last night? Like, I'm still playing the entire night through my head. What are we doing today?
I'm lost. So we feel like we kind of stumbled upon a pretty big deal, and I think I'm not really sure what's going to come of these trials, or if they're going to want us to got something bigger for us. Can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think we were focused on it's hard for me to remember too. Weren't we told to track these beasts instead of finishing out the competition?
Well, yeah. I mean, I know they're coming to get us. I just like, is the tournament over for us? Did we just forfeit why we were here to begin with? Like, man, this is
I have a
crazy.
similar concern. I really want to get into that school. When he points out.
Yeah, that's why I came here. I mean, I traveled a ways to get here. It's something I've been working for and looking forward to. So hopefully, if we're not able to do that, hopefully at least whatever else they're having us do is as valuable to me.
And that was the impression that I got. Is this seems like it's bigger than our tournament that we were
To
doing.
them,
So,
at least to them.
To
at least.
them.
That's kind of my concern. So
Do you think
Yeah.
they'll need war priests?
I don't think they know what they need.
yeah,
I think we're in the discovery phase
goes-
at this point.
They don't know what's going on. They don't know
yeah,
anything.
I don't know anything.
They don't know what's happening. Why are we
Yeah.
the ones going? Why are they not the ones going?
Because we killed a couple of them. That's why.
That's a good
Well, she-
question.
I feel like
She
we know
brings
as
up a
much
good
as they
point.
do.
She brings up a good
I
point.
wonder. I wonder why they would use us.
Lorys and Vigo, go ahead and give me a intelligence roll.
It's probably because we're so good. That
Ooh, that is a
just
good roll.
recognized talent.
20, a dirty 20.
Okay.
14.
Okay. Yeah. So, Lorys, you are flowing with what Tika is saying today. You're definitely catching everything she's saying. Vigo, you're actually understanding quite a bit. You're like, okay, yeah, I get it. So, just wanted to have you guys kind of as you. It's not going to go on forever, but as you're getting to know Tika Tik, you're starting to understand her better, and you're starting to basically recognize gestures and symbols and stuff like that. About this time, Pappy rolls in, and he is already has.
Can I just
coffee.
roll my eyes? I just want to.
He
roll
already
my eyes
has
first.
coffee from somewhere. You're not really sure where.
Tika's
It's
telling
this
everyone-
really big.
Just duck down a little bit. Duck down. Don't look. Don't look.
He kind of somehow instinctually knows where you are, and just kind of walks over and he says, "Hey guys. So good to see you this morning. Are you ready?
As ready as we can be. I mean, I
Good,
know
good,
I'm ready.
Good.
I don't know what I'm ready for.
Oh, I mean, ready for anything, I guess, right?
So
Well,
then
we'll
nothing
see.
has changed.
I think
Let's
I
go.
saw. I think they're getting ready to start the next round of challenges here. And I saw some of those wizards, moving throughout. I've seen a lot more soldiers today too. So, don't know.
Did they
don't know
look-
what that means?
Did they look like escalated? Did they look like they're more anxious
There
than normal?
was more around than they didn't look anxious. I mean, it's hard to tell humans, but
You're doing a great Pappy, by the way. You're doing an excellent Pappy.
So good.
but they were good. They were good. Yeah. But there was more of them.
So I think in response to this, I'm just gonna kind of push back a little bit, and I'm gonna shake my head. I'm gonna repeat like, so they're gonna send 6 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to count. 1, 2, 3, 5. They're gonna send 5 of us.
Royal
To-
count.
I know it's horrible. My math is hard. So they're gonna send 5 of us to go face an unknown, with an unknown enemy with an ambiguous capability, and nobody seems like this is an escalation.
I think they did say maybe that we would just go with them, like they're gonna have other people go as well.
I'll take
So
it.
I think it's just that we're the skillful group to go along with them. We're the ones who are successful in tracking and killing these other ones. So
We're the sacrifice. We're the sacrifice.
Yeah.
She's on
What?
the
We're
It's-
the bait.
we're the big shots. Exactly. Yes.
I don't think that's what she's saying.
Actually, he rolled pretty well. Wait, sacrifice? No. No. They wouldn't do that. We're too important. I mean, we've got royalty with us, so. I mean, they wouldn't put him in harm's danger. So, but about this time, you do hear the signal for the camp to proceed to the assignments for the day. You hear them go throughout, and then you kind of start making your way out of the tent along with kind of everybody else. But as you reach the entrance to this large food pavilion, there is a yellow-robed mage there who is waiting kind of impatiently. And, a couple of you guys give me a perception check.
14.
Perception 13.
Okay. So it's not too hard. You both see her before she sees you. And it is the yellow-robed young female wizard who had originally greeted you when you returned to camp yesterday. She looks a little impatient, like she's like watching all these people go by, and as soon as she finally sees you, she says, "Oh, over here, over here." And she kind of like raises her hands, and she's like, "Yeah, you guys, over here, over here. I'm here to take you to meet with the others today." And you notice she has a lot more. She has a lot more of maybe you would call it respect for having to take you to meet with some of the people she knows are going to be there. So
Sorry,
she's like,
out of character. This is the same person that we talked with last night. That was sort
with
of
the single stripe, a little bit of an attitude.
Yes.
Okay.
Tika was like, on the one stripe.
So,
but she is much more demurred and like respectful today, and is like, please, if you would follow me, I'd be happy to show you to the meeting with the council, for lack of a term, today. So, yes, please follow me. And she turns around and starts walking.
You know,
Oh, yes.
How many people will we be traveling with on this?
Oh, I don't know. I was just sent to come fetch you all, the party that came in with the report yesterday. So
She taps one stripe again. One stripe. She don't know what's going on.
You're right. You're right.
Get the show on the road.
Like your friend said. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. So
You seem different today. Did you sleep well?
Tika
Yes,
get used to this.
Yes. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Huh.
And she kind of just turns like a little bit of, cheeks blush a little bit at being called out on it, and kind of starts walking.
Can I roll insight to take guesses to speculate on why this is?
Sure.
Or
Give me an
something?
insight. Yeah.
17.
Okay. What is it you're trying to determine, or what is it you're trying to
Why
see?
the change of attitude overnight?
She got to sleep, man.
you get the understanding that higher up leadership has basically sent her to get you to meet with them. And so there's this kind of, now she's like, oh, these people are going to be important. Like these people are doing something that like they're a part of something. And so, you're not just some random
Relevant
group of people that she's been having to give the same directions to over and over again. She's kind of like, oh, I get to be the ones to take them now. So it's kind of an honor for her as well. So she begins leading you, winding through the few tents that are still between these large pavilions and the actual township, like the permanent buildings that are behind it that you saw some of yesterday. And instead of going to the kind of smaller building that you went to yesterday, which was kind of like a meeting room, you guys saw there was kind of like maybe like a classroom next to it. That's one of the doors you opened. You're led to a little bit bigger building, and she takes you inside. It looks like it's you walk inside. It is a tavern basically, but it's pretty nice. You get the sense that this is probably when dignitaries or someone visits the Tetralith Academy during the rest of the year, this would be where they stay. So it's very nice. And she leads you towards the back, past all these tables and stuff like that, to a private door and she knocks on it, and then stands aside as it's opened for you.
Oh, guys, I think I've heard of this place. My mother told me stories about this. In this tavern, she said, the drinks are strong and the bards are weak, but weak drinks and strong bards are banned from here. I think it was this one. Yeah.
I will never forget that.
It's always helped me.
Thank you.
Yeah, every time I come here. This is
the
first
door
time
opens, and you see the older mage from last night. They're standing there, and he greets you and says, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And he turns to the mage who just brought you and says, Apprentice Kieran, thank you. You are dismissed for this morning. You can return to your duties after lunch. She says, thank you. She turns around and leaves. So he says, do please come in. He said, I'm sorry, I don't know if I actually properly introduced myself yesterday. It was kind of a rather rushed process as soon as we heard the news. But I myself am Magiscribe Dalen. And you all would know, general knowledge of kind of the titles that they go by here at the Tetralith Academy. So I'll just kind of throw it out there for you to know. The yellow-robed wizards, besides being kind of... basically, the Tetralith Academy is basically, like I said, it's magic and martial. And so yellow is kind of like the standard color. But this particular gentleman, Dalen, he is a magiscribe. Basically, there's 4 different practices within the Tetralith Academy, and magiscribe is one of them. They're typically the scholars and practitioners. They're practitioners of arcane and scholars usually. So mostly wizards, but others as well. Sometimes priests, sometimes clerics, stuff like that. But more focused on studies and stuff like that. So, but that's what he is. So he's I'm magistric. I am Magiscribe Dalen. So if you would please come in. We've already got a few people here, and we are waiting on a few others. He opens the door wider, and you walk in, and this time it is a very nice kind of sitting room. But there is a large table to one side, and over at the table, it's not benches. These are actual individual chairs, and so they're high back chairs, very nice leather, covered in leather, and you see several people already sitting at the table. At the head of the table, you see the woman from last night, who you know as Alicia Monsuro. That's Allysia Monsuro, Monsuro. And Dalen says, yes, the Tetrarch, which is her title. The Tetrarch is already here, and has already reserved seats for you all if you'll come in and have a seat. And this table is pretty large. I mean, it looks like it'd seat about 20 people. So again, this is definitely a meeting room for dignitaries and officials and stuff like that. And then, like I said, there's sitting area over to the side as well. But there are 5 seats, all next to each other. There's where the Tetrarch is seated, and then there's a seat next to her, and then there's 5 seats for you all there. Dalen takes his spot next to her, and so you're sitting next to her, next to Dalen. So, on her other side, you see a a very tall human, very dark complexion with long hair, and he is wearing a mask. He is one of the Maskar. He is sitting next to the Tetrarch, and is in conversation with her at the moment as you sit down. Kind of glances over in your direction, and then just continues the conversation. 2 seats down from him, there is another, actually young person that is looks to be half elven, and he is similarly dressed to you all. He's got kind of hunting leathers on. He has traveling cloak on over it, and he's just kind of sitting there by himself, a little nervous. So, and then on the other side of, kind of the other opposite side of the table from you, or from the Tetrarch, is another human. Although this is a female, she is probably somewhere between Dalen and the Tetrarch in age, and has kind of bright red hair, and is dressed rather nicely. Vigo and Erebus, give me a intelligence check, if you would.
When I'm rolling on D&D Beyond, it is like the slowest, choppiest roll. So bear with me here. I might just go back to
13
dice.
for me.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
Stand by. It's
Gotta
still
have
rolling.
that.
There we go. A 14.
14? Okay. So you recognize that she has the same style of mask as Vigo. That she is from Theorandia. Other than that, you're not sure who she is. So.
Any other markings that I recognize? Accomplishments?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, you see the symbol for Theorandia. Which what is that, Vigo?
Oh, that's a good question. I wish I was
Okay,
prepared for that.
think about it and tell me later.
Yeah, I'll think about it for sure.
Okay. The other, so it's the same.
A lot of stuff on the mask?
There's not a lot, but there's probably 5 or 6 markings of some kind. There is a notch, like kind of on the side. There is, like I said, the symbol for Theorandia. There's a couple other little brands that you're not quite sure what they are because you're kind of far away from her at the moment. But enough to be, an adult with a few accomplishments. Her dress and demeanor, on the other hand, definitely kind of gives you the sense that she is nobility, maybe a higher class merchant of some kind. But you're not sure who she is. The dark complected, tall Maskar who's sitting next to the Tetrarch, his mask is of a different color. Because what is Theorandia's again? Black and green?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so hers is black and green as well. This gentleman's is kind of a blue, like a dark blue, with then as he moves, you kind of see this like orange, like maybe that, like it's like if it's two types of leather, like the inside one is kind of like a dark orange with this kind of like velvety blue on the outside. So, and again, he's in discussion. As you sit down, the red-headed Maskar from Therandia sees you, Vigo, and says, "Ah, so it is true we have someone from Therandia amongst the party. It's so good to meet you and have someone from Therandia present for this interesting situation. What was your name, sir?"
Likewise, I'm Vigo Grovorovich, and I kind of bow and just slightly and then stand up. At your service.
So you stand up and bow? Is that what you said? Sorry.
Yeah. So
okay.
Get up, slight bow. Great to meet you.
Sorry, 1 second.
That's right. I have.
Wait, if you just say roll for initiative. That's
I have
no,
other
yeah. She
you
says she notices that you stand and bow, and she says, well, thank you, and very, very good to see someone who is apparently getting ready to receive their adult mask with such good manners." And she says, "My name is Lady Rosalind, and I am very pleased to meet you. I have the fortunate position of being in charge of the Therandia group this harvest festival."
Did you go to school here?
I did not know. No, I did not go to school here, but like I said, I was fortunate enough to be given the honor of leading our group this harvest festival. So I myself I'm actually from a merchant family. You may have heard of it. It's the Fleming merchants.
Do I recognize that name?
Give me an intelligence check. I would say you could too, Erebus, as you've been in Therandia for a while.
I was just gonna ask, are we part of this conversation, or is this kind of a sidebar?
I mean, she probably doesn't realize that you. Well, hold on. No, she doesn't realize that you came with the Therandians.
Okay. So I'm just eavesdropping, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, she's not necessarily not like, as conversation goes, she talked, kind of look at Vigo, kind of like look at the rest of the group, and then back to Vigo as talking. But she was taking you all in, kind of in the conversation. She wasn't just just talking to Vigo there. So
I rolled and I could just tell you I did not recognize the name.
Okay.
I rolled a 17.
Okay. Yeah, you recognize it. It's one of the, definitely one of the larger merchant companies in Therandia for sure.
Okay.
So I don't make any. I look surprised and don't try to hide it. I'm.
What did you roll? I'm sorry, I forgot.
16.
Okay, yeah. So you would recognize it too. Yeah. I mean, just because you're secluded over there, you've probably gotten goods that had the Fleming family stamp on it, and so you would absolutely recognize. You've had to go into town and buy stuff, so.
Wow. So what's that like? Do you work in much of the business, or are you just?
Oh,
Just more
I have been
familiar?
learning for quite some time, and I do run specific operations for the family when the need arises. Currently, my father is the one who runs the business overall, along with two of my brothers. So
And she's older than me. She looks maybe in her 30s, or
she's probably no, she's probably late 30s, early 40s. I mean,
Oh,
she's
okay.
yeah, she's an adult at this point for sure. Like I said, she's got about 5 different marks on her mask. But she's definitely seems like you know, a very jovial, friendly person as far as, maybe not what you would expect from someone who is like the person in charge of one of the nation's encampments, basically.
So, I don't know much about what's going on here, which is very rare. I know it's a surprise, but so are we meeting for? Are we?
He
What's that
rolled.
roll for? Are
Nope,
we?
you're good. Just like to make you
Are-
nervous sometimes.
Are we meeting for? To discuss going after these creatures, or something else?
Oh
Or
yes,
what's the
very
next
much
step
so.
here?
She says, I don't know all the details, but I think that's what we're going to discuss here a little bit. But
Is it gonna be much longer, do you think?
it should be. I think there's another group that we're waiting for.
Did they kill the
As well.
monsters also,
I
or
think that
probably
they
only us?
encountered some as well.
Did they? No.
She give me a perception check. Somebody.
8.
Okay, you don't notice
I will
anything.
proceed. Well,
Okay. So we're not the
10.
only ones.
8 and 10. Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys are pretty focused on this conversation with her, so
I got a 23 if I can roll.
I'll let you roll. You notice the half elven young man. He's paying very close attention, and he is also very nervous.
Okay.
And you also pick up that she kind of glances at him whenever she says that, like that there was other people that encountered things out there. So,
Well, I'm sure they're very brave too.
Is this like a sit down and wait kind of situation, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, you're all
talking time,
seated
like
around
with-
this large table at the
Okay.
moment.
So it would be
Um,
weird to get up and talk to the elf if he's on the other side.
I mean,
Or
yeah,
the-
he's on the other side from you. You would be getting up and walking
Okay.
around there. There's a seat between the other Maskar, the tall, the masked guy, and him, and then there's like another 5 seats. So about that time though, you do see another, the door open, and you see another robed mage enter. This one is also in the blue robes, similar to the Tetrarch who is there with you. He is a rather tall elven male, and he has long dark hair, and then kind of a medium complexion. He's not quite as fair as you might think most elves would be. But you do see he has very bright white eyes with these kind of flecks of purple in them. But he enters. He's also wearing, like I said, the blue robe, and he has 5 stripes on his as well. You see 3 yellow, and then you see a purple, and a red. So he walks into the room and he says, "Oh yes, we're almost here. Believe we were just missing the other party. I do believe that I saw them coming down the way, so it should not be but just a moment longer." He moves to the seat between the half elf and the other Maskar, and takes his seat, and then turns to look at you all and says, "Welcome. These are unfortunate circumstances, but for my part, it is an honor to meet you all. Erebus, give me a perception check."
I was just before I do this, in the most clandestine way, could I have like thrown over a scowl or a cowl, like cover it up, kind of like
Sure. Give me a sleight of hand check.
A sleight of hand check. Okay. I think you know where I'm going with that. Oh boy, nat 1 plus 5, so a 6.
Okay. All right. So you like
gross.
try to reach back for your hood, and you can't feel it. You kind of
Nervous scratch.
You're like, yeah, and so then you realize that your arm's like here, trying to grab your hood, and you're just like, you just put your arm down.
Play it cool. Play it cool.
But did you go ahead and give me a
Go roll
perception check as well?
Okay. Okay, a 7 plus 5, 12.
Okay. You notice that he, his eyes linger on you just a hair longer than everyone else. Just a hair. You don't see anything in the look. You just get that he sees you, you know. So.
Yeah, I think at failing at finding my hood, I think I'm gonna stare daggers into the table. I'm not gonna look at him. I don't want any sort of conversation or to notice the eyes. I'm just gonna stay focused on not being noticed.
Okay. So he looks at all of you and he says, "Might I inquire of your names?" Pappy's like, yes, actually. My name is Pappy. I'm happy to be here. Fortunate to be in this great band of party members, especially with such royalty here. Definitely points you out.
So hide under my hand. That's awesome.
See his pins.
I think he put it in a pocket. I don't think
I put it in a pocket.
It's not out. It's not out.
Well played.
Well, you failed your hood check. So
I did.
It's like, let's just put it all out there.
I deserve this.
Reborn, I hope you appreciate that.
Well, and I'm Lorys the Long Wolves. So, and you are?
Yes. Oh, my apologies. My name is Tetrarch. My name is Tetrarch Elevan Silverleaf.
Would I have recognized that name?
Give me a history or intelligence.
Am I smart? No, I'm not.
Ooh.
Smart. We'll do history.
I got a
21.
Okay.
Oh, I got 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. Yeah, both of you do recognize the name as being someone from I gotta remember how I pronounce my own things. Silvereth, the Elven homeland, actually just to the north of Theorandia and Suvandia. So, Tika Tik, you probably would recognize him as an elf from there as well, being from Fallraven and being one of the nations that is most close to Silvereth. So you would recognize the purple in the eyes as an indication of that. So
Gotcha.
he says, yes, but like I said, I am Tetrarch here. I am actually the Tetrarch of the I am Tetrarch of the Architects. You all would know that there are 4 Tetrarchs as leaders in the Tetralith Academy. Tetra being the number, and him being robed as well. There's basically two magic practices within the Tetralith Academy. There's the Magiscribes, which are the kind of learned. They keep records. They do, kind of like your, magic that is studied. Like I said, they're the wizards. And then you have the Architects, ARCANETech, Architect. And as the name kind of implies, these are kind of more of the magical constructs. These would be the oh my gosh. These would be artificers. Thank you. I was like, what is the word? Artificers of different kinds. So, everything from crafting things with magic to, brews and potions and all sorts of things like that. Probably a lot of the magical inventions come from that practice as well. And as you notice, he has actually a couple of things that kind of give off. He's still in a simple blue robe. It's a very nice robe, but you can see under his sleeve there is some sort of like kind of metal device attached to his wrist. And then you also see something that looks metal that's kind of like on the collar of his robe as well. But he is the Tetrarch of that, so the leadership of that. As you all are kind of giving your introductions, Tika Tik and Erebus have yet to say anything. Do you make a motion
Tika
or
Tik,
say anything?
No. So Tika Tik, when she comes in, like, she kind of stiffens up. Doesn't like being in this room with so many tall people, big people.
Sure.
And when he asks her as an introduction, she just goes like, and just kind of rubs her neck like she can't speak.
Okay.
I can't speak.
You hear
and
within
just
your
kind of,
mind.
Yeah.
You hear his voice without seeing him speak. And he says, "Hello, I apologize for not knowing that you were not able to speak. I would love to know your name if you care to share it." And that's it.
So she goes from this apologetic, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't speak," to just really annoyed that he's now talking in her head. just a brief glimpse of it, and then she kind of tucks it away.
Okay.
And she says, Tika Tik will be fine.
He says, "Very well." And that's it. So if you don't, presence removed. It wasn't intrusive in any way. It was very as polite as one can be when communicating telepathically.
And I think she recognizes that. But she already feels uncomfortable, and then was not expecting that, and it was there. And so it was a momentary like, and then kind of just buries it real quick and goes out.
Gotcha.
Tika Tik will be fine.
Erebus, do you say anything?
Yeah, I'm totally hoping this blows over. I'm still staring at the table. Maybe I'm using my nails to etch a little bit of the wood off the table, but I'm not proactive and engaging.
Okay. So without engaging, when it finally comes to you, he says, and you, good sir, I am familiar with you. I hope you are faring well.
It's been hospitable in my stay here. Thank you.
Very good. You see, he gives you a nod of understanding a little bit and moves on. He then turns to the young half-elf, to you. And the half-elf, again, is like, he's just like closed up inside of himself. He's like, he got his hood up successfully.
Classic.
But no, he's there, and he's kind of just sitting there, and Elevan looks at him and says, "And you, good sir, may I ask you of your name?" He says, "Yes. You can call me Trent." He says, "And Trent, I understand you also have information for us today. We won't get into the specifics yet, but is that true?" And he's like, "Yes, sir." And he just kind of leaves it at that. At this point, Tetrarch, where are my people?
Or something.
Alicia, she looks down and she says, "Elevan, do let them be for the moment. The other group has not yet arrived." He says, "My apologies." And he says, "I do believe we should also be getting some refreshments for those who are interested." At last, the door opens, and you see a couple apprentice mages come through, single stripes. They're bearing trays with coffee. Some have juice or water, and they kind of like go around to offer to everybody, allowing you to take your pick. As they are doing this, there's the door opens one final time, and another party of 5 arrive. Very similar to you all, as far as just this kind of motley crew of different beings. You see a young dwarf who is got blonde hair, very blonde, like very kind of uncommon, sightly blonde, and beard. And he comes in. He is wearing leathers as well, and has a cloak over his back. You see a tiefling who is kind of got a little bit of purple hue to his skin. It's male. He has on a kind of a half plate chest piece, and he has what looks like a great sword behind him. you see a bright yellow Zetali female. She isn't carrying anything, but just has on kind of modest, like cloth sleeveless shirt, and kind of flowing pants, and then a cloak as well. You see a human female. With kind of sandy brown hair, and she has on chainmail and carries a staff. And lastly, you see it. You see another sorry. Lastly, you see another human. This one male. And he has like fiery red hair. Like very fiery. And he has he's wearing some kind of like brown and red robes. Has a traveling cloak as well. But they enter and they look at you all. They take on the entire table, and the Tetrarch Elven stands up and he says, very well. Do please come in and have a seat here. There's kind of a shuffling as they are also, offered drinks and stuff and finally sit down. But then at this point, all of the chairs at the table are set. Tetrarch Alicia stands up and says, "Thank you for coming. I do apologize for the kind of mystery surrounding this meeting, but there is quite a lot going on. As many of you know, there have been sightings of shade mist creatures in the forest to the north. There have been 3 such sightings, possibly more, as we have had one party not return. And then Trent's party here. Most of them returned, but were gravely wounded. Trent is representing them today. They did lose one of their members. And then we have the group here. She indicates the other group that came in and said, who encountered a small party of creatures and were able to defeat them. And then this other party here. and she kind of indicates you all and says who encountered some shade stalkers, and were able to defeat them as well. All of you are here because this is the most activity that we have encountered by creatures of the shade in the last 100 years. We are preparing a small group, and when I say small, I mean there are going to be about 50 of us who are going to be attending. If all of you, as well as some soldiers of the Tetralith Academy, and then also some soldiers of Suvandia, and she indicates the tall masked gentleman who's sitting next to her, and then she says, as well as soldiers from Theorandia, as the sightings have been in their lands. The tall Maskar takes the kind of acknowledgement and says, in a kind of deeper voice, it is unfortunate that we are having to search our own lands for creatures we did not know even entered it. But between the sightings from the 3 of your groups, we have an idea where there might be a larger, maybe raiding party, and we're going to begin searching on the trail leading up to it and see if that's indeed where they are. There are ruins just on the Suvandian border with Theorandia, and we believe that they might be using that as a base. We're going to travel there and see if we can't flush them out. Typically, these raiding parties are no more than 20 or so, with a few scouts, which you all have taken care of some of them already. So, but we're going to move swiftly, and if we need to, we will be calling in more, but we want to try to keep this contained at the moment until we know more information. The Tetrarch Elven looks, kind of takes a cue and stands and says, we have maps here that we're going to look at, and on it we have indicated where you all encountered the different creatures. And he basically takes out and unrolls this large map of the kind of the ground surrounding the Tetralith Academy. You see, actually, there's marks on it where you all had entered. You see the kind of crooked tree where you entered the forest, and then, you traveled a ways in the spot where you had kind of told them you encountered them. You see similar pathways for the other 2 groups. One of them in one of them being in Theorandia, and then the final one being in Suvandia, which, again, the border kind of is almost directly north, split kind of, again, Tetralith Academy is right in the center of these 4 different nations, kind of at a crossroads. So, do you all say anything? Do you have anything that you want to interject?
I think without changing body posture or looking up, I'm just going to clear my throat. Is 50 enough? I mean, 2 of these things almost took out my group. I feel like 50 is just not enough to go into the unknown.
Alicia kind of gives you a nod and says, well, they're not all soldiers. Myself and Elven are also going to be accompanying as well. We also have some higher ranking legionnaires, which are our martial, one of our martial arms here that are going to be coming. That's where most of the Tetralith troops are being pulled from. And then also the guards from both the Savandian and the Erandian groups are being pulled from some of the more elite members that are here. That with our magics, we should be fine if it is a typical raiding party. Like I said, there's usually only about 20, and then they have 2 pairs, if any of our previous indications are known to us. And she kind of looks at Elevan, and he says, the previous encounters with these kind of raiding parties, the case was that they would be 20 or so of their warriors of different kinds, typical foot soldiers, with a few who have magic ability, and they're the ones who would be leading and also controlling 2 sets of the scouts or the shade stalkers. You all have taken care of one, so yes. Tika Tik.
You said there were 3 attacks?
Yes, there were 3 attacks. And
You said,
go ahead.
and you said it's been 100 years since you've seen them here.
That is correct. Yes.
How do I communicate this? So how do you know what standard is when it's been 100 years?
A very excellent question, Tika Tik. We don't, in all honesty. And she kind of gives you a, just laying it on the table kind of look. She says, the 50 of us going in is really to get more information. It should be plenty, but we have that is what we can muster as quickly as possible. We are actually going to have more available in the next several days. We will have several hundred available. We're trying to not create panic within all of the nations with such a diverse group of peoples. Not many here at this harvest festival are not warriors. We have a survival challenge, but this, as you completed yours, the survival challenge was not meant to be particularly difficult. The fact that you survived an encounter with 2 shade stalkers gives you much credit, because mostly it was a 1 or 2 night stay in the woods, survival kind of challenge. There was not meant to be some great battle with deadly beasts.
I lean over to Lady Rosalind and say, everyone seems really confident we can do this. Pretty sure. Yeah.
She says, "Oh, I'm sure you can."
Got this.
And so she, she, like I said, she kind of gives you a knowing look. Oh yes, I'm sure you do. Very motherly, if you will. But the group continues discussing it. They talk about, they basically point out where the ruins are. The ruins are probably double the distance that you traveled in a day, inside of the Suvandian side. You see them on the map, and the Suvandian representative, who introduced himself, he says his name is Ryan Fitzwilliams. And he is the leader of the Suvandian encampment there. He also, he says, I have also sent word, 2 of my quickest couriers to the Suvandian capital to prepare a larger force as well, especially if containment is unavailable to us. At this, the mages are saying we should be able to contain them. We want to try to keep them there and wipe them out, maybe capture a couple if possible, but if not, mostly just eliminate the threat at this point and then investigate further. So there's more discussion. You all can, are asked a few questions occasionally, but mostly it's kind of this discussion between the two Tetrarchs and the Suvandian and Therandian representatives. They ask you, pointed questions about the Shadestalkers, and then they ask the other two groups about the encounters they had as well. You get the sense that they didn't fight Shadestalkers, but they fought more they were ambushed by a band of warrior creatures. You're not quite sure. They're not necessarily kind of like the party that went and succeeded and returned had not seen any like them before. But they did describe them. I'll give you a description. If it pulls up, 1 second. Sorry,
Critique,
lots of
right?
information. I know. Do say that again.
You're good. You're good. I'm wondering if Tika Tik is going to try to figure out, because they were not Shadestalkers. Was this a coincidence that these attacks happened at the same time, or was it actually coordinated by the same people? Is she going to look? She's probably going to look at the map and go, where do these attacks take place? Like, is it possible that this is just coincidence? Like, these are separate events? Is this something she should roll for perception to see if that's the case, or she would have no way of knowing regardless?
As far as separate events,
because we fought Shadestalkers, they didn't. They fought something else. They can't really describe that. So
yeah.
I guess she's already very suspicious. Obviously, no one knows what's going on, and so she's going, is it possible that these are two separate things? That it was a tiny isolated party of Shadestalkers, and whoever these marauders were that you guys were fighting happened to be in the woods at the same time. Festivals taking place, and so there's crimes of opportunity. You're going to have a bunch of people in the woods trying to survive, and so I think it's a question that she would wonder.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible that this is all coincidence? Does that make sense?
Yes, I see what you're saying. So as far as what they're describing, here's the description of them. Okay, so they begin describing them, and as they're describing them, they don't know what they are, but Elven, who seems to indicate that he was around for the last invasion, he gives them a name. He says, yes, these are the Ligethka. Ligithka. He says, they are ferocious creatures, cunning humanoids, but they usually raid in packs or bands. They are kind of large hunting cat-like beings, almost more feral than not like tabaxi at all. They're, like I said, more feral, more along the lines of what are the others? But they're very feline. They'll have different coats, much the same way as cats do. But they travel in packs of like I said, usually about 20 or so, and were the foot soldiers of the Shade in the last invasion. So they are armed with, they're not just creatures, they are intelligent beings, though their intelligence is limited compared to most. They do wear armor and wield weapons, but they are not opposed to also using fang and claw in situations as well. So, however, like I said, there are what they lack in intelligence, they make up for in ferocity and generally in numbers, roving around in a pack of 20. And like I said, usually a couple of them are magic wielders of some kind. That's how they are able to control the Shade Stalkers. For Shade Stalkers would be just as likely to tear them apart if given the opportunity. They're not tamed creatures by any means. So, are there any questions? Like I said, we would like for you all to come along, not just because of your experience, but also in helping us identify some of the areas where we will be. You all are also representing several of you, Theorandia and Suvandia, in this. Others of you come from other nations, and we want to make sure that you are represented as well, and you can report back this information to your respective groups, because this will need to be told to everyone at some point. But we want to make sure we have all of our information before we create a panic of a renewed invasion. So, do you have any questions?
I'm trying to think what's bothering Tika right now. Part of it is she came reluctantly to do her duty in this competition. And knowing that even though there would have been some level of danger with the tasks associated with some of these challenges, it wasn't this. It wasn't this, you
Sure.
know? And so I'm wondering, I'm trying to think how she would respond to it's not a demand, but it's almost a demand. It's an expectation for this. What's the? I guess I'm looking for something to push her in that direction. I'm looking for something to push her in that direction to go. We need to do this. We need to do this. She's going to want to help, but she's really. She's a hermit. She's out for herself. So I got something. So she's going to the one that spoke to her through her mind. She's going to look at him and speak to him, because she can also speak telepathically to him. I think she's wanting to ask this privately, because this will be embarrassing for her to share in public, I guess.
Okay.
But she's saying she'll ask him. She just I'm wondering if I need to stay here or go home to defend my home if Shade Stalkers are this far in. I'm wondering if I'm best suited to help you or to go home. And it's a kind of a warring of duty in her right now. Like, she understands to be part of the party, of course, but she's going, if I had to choose You know, if I'm going with 50 people who have no idea what's going on, who may or may not be enough to take care of this, she's looking for some kind of assurance that this is the right move for her to make, rather than go home, be with her people, and defend from there.
So, how about the other three of you give me a perception check? You hear back in your head, you get a brief sense of surprise at being spoken back to, followed by a kind of reassurance, and he says, "I will inform the group, but rest assured that messengers have also been sent to Theorandia and Felraven, as well as my own homeland to the north. We are taking all precautions necessary, and if at the end of this you would like to travel directly from where we are, then I can make means of getting you there much quicker. We are going to be traveling north as a group, and at this point it might be safer to be together."
Good enough for her.
So, what do you guys
8
get?
for me.
Roll
Huh?
7.
12.
And 8.
Okay. So none of you see anything. I mean, at most you would have caught kind of a glance of almost like, you know, when two people can kind of communicate just by looking at each other, like they have that kind of look of knowing, you know, kind of thing. Not that they have this friendship, but just that, you know, you might have had a chance to see this kind of like locking of eyes for just a moment, but you didn't. But within a few minutes, Elavan speaks up and kind of reassures everyone. He says, "Rest assured, we are sending messengers to the surrounding nations to alert them of a possible danger, especially Theorandia, Suvandia, Fjallraven, and my own homeland. Outside of that, we don't want to alarm anyone. These messengers are going directly to the respective leaders within, with requests for discretion until we send a follow-up message. But we are trying to prepare them as well. So, you know, more discussion happens on, you know, the best place to approach. You hear a little bit more information about these ruins. You know, you're kind of hearing about it. You know, you heard the description of both the other two parties who fought these Lagithka, and they, you know, one of the parties came out, you know, much like yourselves, and the others were almost killed, basically. And so that's why that they are, you know, sending a group of 50 in, with more being raised behind them. So, yeah, with that, it's, you know, you get more about lunchtime, and they said, we will bring in a repast, but then we would like to prepare to ride out as early as possible afterwards. So please make any arrangements you need. If you have any further questions, please ask them now, or you can ask them once we set out. All right. We'll meet back here in about 2 hours. So you all have a couple of hours. Is there anything you would like to do to prepare?
I think I kind of want to go get a shield after the last go around with these shade stalkers.
Are you proficient in shields?
I head back to that common area where our people are, where we can get like supplies.
As you are leaving, by the way, Alicia says, by the way, if you need to get supplies, this is all going to be covered. So please use these. And she does hand each of you a coin, kind of similar to what you've seen for the harvest things. But it is like legit coin. Like it is an actual gold coin. There is also in the stamp, there is the symbol of the Tetralith Academy with some script on it that you're not quite sure of. But it's pretty weighty and it's pretty impressive. So nothing like the kind of like harvest coins that you had seen so far. But you're each given one and basically told, you may present this and any supplies you need will be given to you.
Thank you very much.
So out of character, explain. So any supplies up? Is there like up to a limit? Because I could go crazy.
I'm gonna go get the nicest shield that I can get, and I'm gonna try to barter for a nicer one.
Give us some limitations.
+4 plate mail, please.
Yeah.
+4 plate mail.
I mean,
and a
I would
+4
say,
longbow.
I would say you.
Where's the magicalest
so
shield
here's the thing.
that there is?
The Tetralith Academy, there are things available to trade. Typically what is offered as, wares within this harvest are not going to be like, they're going to be fine crafts, finely crafted weapons and armor, sure. But this is also not a camp of war. Yeah. Most of the things that are brought here that are crafted are not weapons and armor. This is not, people have weapons and armor, but they've brought them for themselves to compete. They have not brought weapons and armor to necessarily sell or trade most often. Like I said, there might be a few smiths where you can find some, but they're going to be basically just like nicely crafted, non-magical.
Okay. So for I'm sorry, Lorys, you're still shopping, or you said you were going to do something?
You're going to go pick up a shield.
Yeah, we're going to go look for a shield.
Look for a shield. Okay.
Are you proficient in shields, by the way?
Okay.
Well, I don't think so, and I didn't think that I had to be, but I could be wrong about that.
I'm trying to remember that as well. Because, like, anyone can pick it up, but it's a matter of... Let's see.
Effectiveness.
Oh, yeah, effectiveness, exactly.
Tika's probably going to try and get a hold of some, like, kind of really high tensile string, like, to be able to set traps, trip wires, things like that.
Okay.
Probably try to chat up Pappy about using his ability to kind of tinker and set up some kind of alarm bells or things like that. Just trying to prepare, now that she knows these things are out there, to not have them sneak up on them should they need to stop.
Okay. Nice. So, like, alarm wire. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, having almost died in the last encounter, I'm going to try to upgrade my leather. So if there's any like studded leather around, I'm going to try to pick up.
I think you could. Yeah, I think you could find some studded leather. You're not going to find like magical leather necessarily. So there are definitely craftsmen that have some things, But again, this is, like I said, if it's like what you would find here at this harvest festival is going to be like, hey, we've got some like good crafted stuff for you to go and compete in these games with, kind of thing. And that's basically what it is. Because, most of these competitors are not wearing magical gear.
Right.
You know, this is all about you, the
Right.
person, and not
And I
everyone
would've
here is
come-
competing. You know, like
Yeah.
there's, you know, honestly, there's like probably of the like 200 people from your nation that are here, probably only about 20 of them are actually competing. And that's in a number of different reasons. You know, some are trying to gain entrance to the academy. Some are trying to just prove themselves. Some are trying to gain achievements. Some are trying to gain acceptance to their communities, like yourself and like yourself. You know, you're kind of using it as a means to gain entrance as part of the community. Vigo also, you know, is kind of using this as achievement for getting his life mask, his adult mask, as well as gaining entrance.
Yeah.
Others are chosen because they are of an age and able to participate.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you know, they checked the box. Yes, I will compete in the games. So
Awesome. Well, I would be looking for studded leather.
Okay.
And
I
I'll
would
just
say
get my
easy
boy-
enough. You're able to find it.
Okay.
And so
Awesome.
yeah, you can get studded leather, and you know, find that in your inventory and equip it. That's not a problem.
Roger.
Two things for Vigo. So the first thing I would try to do is, I haven't yet found anybody that's like gone to this school recently. So I guess the first thing I would do is try to get a line on, as I go on this quest, what accolades should I seek out, or how should I tailor my experience to try and, you know, essentially build my resume, so that I could get into the school. So
Okay.
any tips that I can find from folks?
Give me.
That's thing one.
Okay. Give me a perception roll.
Perception. If I got a good roll, it would be the first one tonight. I did not. A 10.
Okay. Even better. You see that same young female apprentice as you leave, and she is actually assigned to a table right by where your camp is. And you're able to catch her attention and ask her any questions that you might like. As being a young person who is also a student here at the academy.
So, hey there.
Oh, yes, hello.
Did you hear about my groups, my friends? They're my friends. My friends and I are running with the shadow beasts. I think you did, didn't you?
I mean, you mentioned to me the other day that you had fought some shade stalkers, I believe. I know that they might be tied to the shade. She kind of whispers it. She said, but I mean, myself, I don't know much about them. You all obviously all returned, so you were victorious?
Oh, yeah. By ourselves, there were no shape-changing half-orcs or anything that helped us at all. And
She
and
totally
it was
believes
great.
you.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Give me a persuasion check, just in case you roll lower than she does, which is probably not likely, but never know.
What do you want, deception?
Deception or persuasion, either.
I'm gonna go for deception if I get a choice. Let's
Okay,
see.
go for it.
20, a net 20.
Oh, yeah. She is enthralled by you, actually.
Okay. That's good.
You as a 19-year-old young man are feeling like you're on top of the world right now. And this young lady is just, you don't know if she's older or younger than you, but she's about your age, and she is just like so impressed by you. And she is like, that's amazing. I mean, you guys totally defeated these creatures of the Shade Mist. She's like, I'm impressed.
I know, right? So, yeah. So my friends and I are going to go on this very dangerous quest, and what I'm interested in talking to you about, really, I'll come back and talk to you later after we get done. But what I'm interested in is, do you, you've gone to school here. Do you have any tips on like what I should focus on, or what people like to see on entrance applications? Like, is it like slaying monsters with flashy spells, or is it like saving people from death? Or because I could do all of those things, of course.
She kind of like looks at you and she said, I mean, I'm sure anything that you do on this excursion with the leadership will be quite impressive and earn you favor for sure. I mean, especially if you've completed all of your tests and achievements for entrance, then this can only add to it by all means.
Yeah. Okay. So out of character, are those tests are to come, or is that part of the harvest trials that we're gonna have to skip?
You would know that you haven't taken any tests yet, so
Okay. Okay.
so
So
you
I'll just
assume
roll
that they
along.
are probably part of this harvest trials.
Okay.
But she says, I'm sure that if you perform well, that no matter what, you would definitely be considered for entrance if that's what you wish. So
That's great. Yeah, definitely pass those. Okay, so I give my leave to her, continue the niceties, and the next thing I'm interested in is, for whatever time remains, to spend a few minutes in a temple if I can find one.
Okay.
I know we never settled on a deity for me. We could do that now, but if one's not prepped, just generically whichever one
I would
have.
say
Yeah.
you pretty easily you could find a kind of sequestered small little shrine set up. Being as there are so many people here, they're probably set up to be used by any number of people, and so it's just like a nice quiet, almost like a booth for you to go and kind of be alone with your thoughts or prayers to whatever deity.
Okay.
So you'd be
So
able to
that's
find
it.
some place, yeah. So
That's it for me.
anybody else? Sulyce, did you say something about having to be proficient instead of leather?
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, that was me. I am
Oh, that
not
was you.
going to find a shield
shield.
after
Yeah.
all. So
Okay.
I am wheeling and dealing. I'm going to see if I can find a staff, some sort of magical staff. Even if I have to go to other people who are there for the trials, they might have use for this coin that I've been given.
Okay.
So
Give me an investigation check.
investigation, say.
You only got 2 hours, so it's going to be a kind of high DC to try to find something.
5.
Okay. Unfortunately, you can't find any magical items for trade or sale in the limited amount of time that you have.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to hang on to this coin.
Now, that said, this is for all of you, DM to all of you. If you need, you can, all of you add a health potion to your inventory. Easily enough, you think, oh, I might need something like that. If you need anything else, if you're thinking I need rope or I need, whatever, arrows, maybe an extra dagger, something to throw or whatever. I don't know, but Yeah, like I said, you're able to find it. Many of those commonplace things pretty easily. So, end of your 2 hours. I'll have to tell Pappy that he gets a health potion. During this time, Pappy has just been kind of like enraptured by such high leadership. He's actually been speechless. So, but he does go off as well to find supplies. He gets himself, seeing as how he doesn't need equipment necessarily. He comes back with, like I said, health potion and maybe something else. We'll see. All right. You all return, and you find the group who are there. You find assembled, like I said, about 15 each of soldiers from the Tetralith Academy, Suvandia and Theorandia. And then you realize the 50 was not including you all, basically. So, all total, there's going to be the 5 of you. There's going to be the 2 Tetrarchs. There will be the 5 of the other party. And then there, you actually don't see the half-elven gentleman when they come back. He's not there. But you all are there and ready. You do see there are 2 more mages with you as well. And you're good to go. Anything else? There is a group of legionnaires, which are again the soldiers of the Tetralith Academy, who are also coming along more slowly behind you with a few wagons as well, to kind of meet you further on once you've investigated. So, anything else that you would like to do before you head off?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. You do see Pappy, who is trying to chat up the yellow Zetali that was in the other party. She's definitely giving the cold shoulder. So, he's still talking, whether she's actually paying attention or not. He's just following her, talking to her at the moment, until you all get there, and then he comes back and arrives with you. So, and says, well, Your Highness, are you ready to go and impress? We need to impress these other groups here. I don't think that they had nearly as tough a fight as we did.
Yeah, I feel like we've earned our keep here. This is tremendous, though. Like I feel like we can take on anything. And I just look around and I look at all the different powers.
I mean, we're a pretty big deal. So. So, and he kind of like sees the yellow Zetali like briefly glancing over in y'all's direction, and you see he kind of puffs up his chest, and you notice it kind of puffs up a little larger than you would. It's not just like it's like he puffs up his chest a little bit. He kind of shifts his body a little bit, and he's like a little more musculature, kind of thing. And he's like,
classic.
Yeah.
The stretch.
She just like rolls. Yeah, she just like immediately turns around. No eye roll, just like, I didn't see that. So, all right. Well, you all are preparing to embark, this time from a different side of the Tetralith Academy, on the Suvandrian side. You do notice all of the soldiers from Suvandria and Therandia also wearing the livery of their own nation, but also are masked as well. So you have quite a company with you. They're of different races, but all the Therandians have the black with the green, and then all of the Suvandians have the kind of blue with some, little bit of orange on it. Like the brand for their nation is like a bright orange, probably magic. Most of the time when you get your adult mask, it's like magically sealed, the brand of your nation. So, all right. Well, with that, I think that's a good stopping place for the night. As we are short one player, and we are almost coming to the close of our time. Thank you all for joining this evening. It was wonderful to see you, and I was very excited to get back to Xennelia. So, any final thoughts or for your character or not?
Yeah, I think selfishly, for Erebus, having seen the elf and having kind of kept to himself, it rekindled a lot of the feelings that he had, and being in this like massive army, like 50 plus individuals, I'm seeing like the potential of like maybe this is how I can get my land back. Maybe there's some sort of pivot where I'm able to like win
maybe
some
this
friends
is a
over.
catalyst for
Yeah. So
Yeah.
selfishly, I'm kind of less concerned.
maybe about 100 years finally of receiving hope.
Yep.
I
So
like it.
I'm optimistically. There you go.
There you go.
looking to the next.
Anybody else?
So for me, definitely have getting into school on my mind, and my grand aspiration of becoming a war priest. Even he probably doesn't even know that that's not a thing at the school. Secondary to that, super excited about going on a big adventure, and so like as we're traveling, he's probably mostly staying around. Just behaviorally, he's talked the most to Lady Rosalind, so he probably anchors himself around her and then like branches out and talks to others in his own awkward style, but trying to prepare for the journey, ask others about their background, and learn as much as he can.
And she's there to kind of see you off. She is not a fighter, so she's not going to be going. She may you see her actually helping prepare the wagons. Like she's probably the person who's like, hey, we're going to bring all this out to you guys if we need to, like, it's more supplies, more other stuff. She's using her merchant contact probably for that.
Got you. So he would probably, instead of her, he would probably pick whoever else he's talked to, which I don't know who that would be.
I mean, she's definitely there as you're getting ready to leave. So
yeah, for sure.
And like I said, she's kind of, she's not old, but she's like old enough that she kind of understands that you're a 19-year-old and you're like
old enough to be his mom.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, if there's any question, he's attracted to his mom.
So not quite as matronly as your mother, but it's a little bit of reassurance for sure, especially with the mask and everything. So I guess a little bit tidbit that I'll give you guys, just so that because I've done some prep for the Tetralith Academy, general knowledge that you would know. The 4 practices for the Tetralith Academy are the Magiscribes, the Legionnaires, the Archontex, and the Domini. The Domini are the clerical, like the clerics and paladins and more kind of more kind of holy branch of magical study. So the Magiscribes would also have some nature magic, but it's more focused on arcane. The Legionnaires are the martial side of it, so it's, kind of, if you were to break it down by class, it would be like, fighters and barbarians and rangers and rogues even, kind of thing. The architects are definitely artificers mostly. There would also probably be other magic users, sorcerers, maybe, warlocks of some kind, would be amongst them, and the Magiscribes as well. So, but that's kind of the breakdown. Then you've also got, your apprentices with the single stripe. Your standard members have 2 to 4 stripes, and then there's actually a level between your standard members and the Tetrarchs, which are the primes, and they are usually the instructors, kind of leaders, typically have a lot more experience. So
are the robe colors per like house or type of role, like Magiscribe? And
so the robe colors are more rank. So
Right.
like apprentices and kind of standard members wear yellow, and then which Dalen is there. He's probably on the cusp of being a prime because of his age and experience, and he's got 3 bands already. The apprentices, like I said, with the single bands aren't, which the band colors are different types of expertise, basically. The Legionnaires that you see also have different colored bands, more like on like a shoulder pad with like a couple stripes. And it kind of indicates like if they're experts with the sword or they're archers. And it's like they all kind of have the kits, right? So like all the archers have the same kit, the same leathers. It's like browns with like the yellow highlights, and then they've got like their like the archery stripe on them. The swordsmen or the whatever, have like armor or scale with like some plates on it, and they would be similarly attired. So, and then there's at least one more Magiscribe with the Tetrarch and one more of the Architects, and the Architect is like, I may change that, but we'll see. For now, it's I keep hearing Architect now, and I didn't like that, so it may be Magitech. I don't know. We'll see. I may change it retroactively, but they are like, almost like what you would think of as like an artificer with like very kind of like magical construct, complementing their robes, kind of thing. So, but there you go. A little more info for the world to end the stream tonight.
Nice.
I decided, like let's have a little bit of world knowledge at the end. So awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. We definitely had our new usual suspect, Joshua Sanderfer, in the chat. Thank you for joining us. If you are listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, then check us out if you would like to join the chat on Tuesday nights. And we are live around 8:30 p.m. Central Time and go till about 11 o'clock. Also, you can find us, like I said, find our socials on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as our YouTube channel. So would love for you to drop us a follow and join the chat. And we look forward to seeing you next time here on Hearth and Hammer. Have a good night, and God bless.
Thanks, everybody.